Hi, welcome back to A Bit Different.
Hi there.
This is Cetine.
And this is Rob.
How's everything going?
Good. Good. How are you?
I love how I always do like that ghost intro.
No, it's always a little different. I'm excited about how it's just a little different it's a bit different every week.
Okay, now we're on point.
Okay.
How are you? What's going on?
Well, I have some follow-ups for last week.
Yes.
Like since last week I went on like a shopping bonanza attempt at least for all the AMIIBOS and shit.
Yeah.
And remember like how I was bidding on some stuff on eBay? Mm-hmm. I ended up winning both of them.
Sweet.
Where
are they? I want to see them.
Well, they're in my other backpack. Mm-hmm. But I'm now the proud owner of both Drakengard and Drakengard 2.
Oh, nice.
Drakengard 2 is still sealed.
Okay.
So now I'm like, I don't know if I want to open that, which is stupid. I bought it. I need to. Well, I'll play Drakengard 1, and if I hate it, then I won't open 2. But if I liked it, then I'll probably open 2 so I can play it.
Well, typically, you never know. Sometimes 2 sucks and 1 is great, and 1 is great and 2 sucks.
It's a still sealed PS2 game, so I feel like it's kind of special at this point. But like to find a copy that wasn't either an import, which wouldn't play, of course, on my PS2, or completely beat to hell, the only option was one that was sealed. So I was like, all right. So ended up with both of those. And then also just another little impulse purchase that happened.
What'd you get?
I bought so for anyone out there who doesn't know me, I buy a lot of vinyl records.
Yes, you do.
And video game soundtracks are one of the things that I tend to buy a lot of. I've been buying a bunch of stuff from AMIIBOS, Mondo, Black Screen Records, like anywhere that does video game soundtracks, I tend to buy them. And do you have
a favorite?
Oh, God.
That you could listen to over and over?
The one that I probably listen to the most is the soundtrack to Transistor from Supergiant Games.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for that soundtrack to come out for a long time. But just today, a 7-inch of one of my favorite 8-bit soundtracks arrived. And I was so excited to get it. It's an unofficial release. And
Metroid.
Oh, I wish. That would actually, I think that'd be more than a 7-inch. It's the soundtrack to Dr. Mario.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing. Unfortunately, though, it does have what I feel is to be one of the most sort of tone-deaf packaging designs ever.
Ooh.
Like, it's not offensive. It's just, it looks kind of cheap and it's kind of dumb. Because, like, seriously, Dr. Mario is so good, and the artwork is imitating the cover art for Dr. Dre's The Chronic.
Oh God, that's awful.
And it's like, I'm fine. Like, The Chronic is fine as its own thing, but Dr. Mario and Dr. Dre don't really have a whole lot in common, except that their first name is Doctor.
And it's not even that punny.
Yeah, right? It'd be one thing if it was just like, oh, that's super witty, and I get it, but like, it just doesn't seem to me like that's wholly necessary. I will post a picture of the sleeve on our Instagram because I'm trying to take a picture of a video game soundtrack that I'm playing every day at work now on my turntable. Today I posted a picture of me playing the soundtrack to Contra 3: The Alien Wars.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So there that is.
Oh, that looks really... that's Mondo?
That's a Mondo release, yeah. Because, Mondo
They always have great stuff.
Well, and Mondo has a deal with Konami, where so far they've released... they've released the first 3 Castlevania games, soundtracks. They've done Contra 3, and later this spring they're doing Silent Hill, which
oh no, that's too scary for me.
I'm very excited
about. I couldn't even listen to it because it's too creepy.
It's so good though.
Oh my God, that's pretty funny though.
Yeah, so
Dr. Mario.
Yeah, I just showed her the Dr. Mario
Dr. Dre.
thing.
Yep.
Anywho,
dollar bill.
So anyway, that's some stuff. Trying to think what else. Non-gaming. Oh, kind of gaming, but not quite.
What's that?
I saw a movie this weekend.
You saw Power Rangers?
No.
I
missed Power Rangers by a couple of years, I feel like.
Oh, I'm going to go see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I plan hopefully maybe seeing it tomorrow night.
I watched Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was invited but couldn't make it.
Consider it a small blessing that you weren't there. It was pretty bad.
Is it that bad, though? It got a D rating, Entertainment Weekly, which so I know it's bad, but
I mean,
does it just not connect the story, or is it like so?
It's not offensively bad. It's just not good.
They're making a sequel.
Are they?
Think. I think so because it did really well overseas. Apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, there's some things. I mean, a lot of it just doesn't do right. And it was funny hearing some friends say this. There's a lot of talking, which I'm fine with movies that are all talking, but this movie, it's just it felt kind of gamey in that, like, okay, people are just standing still talking to each other, like, and that's it. There's nothing really going on. Its choice of changing the animus from like a VR recliner to like a giant moving arm.
I remember that from the trailer.
And to be honest, that was actually the one change where I was like, you know what? I don't hate this. It actually kind of pays off by the time it's done, like what they do with it.
All
but
right.
The movie itself was 2 hours of just sort of meh, which is a bummer. I really wanted to love it because I love those games. And at this point, I don't know if I have seen a video game movie I've liked.
I was trying to think of a way they could actually make Assassin's Creed interesting in a film, but every time I thought about it, it just kind of fell flat. Like you said, it just didn't. I couldn't connect it. I mean, it's fun when you're playing it, but just watching the story happen, maybe not so interesting.
Well, if anything, it just sort of seems like they need to do a period assassin movie. Like drop the. It's okay to drop the modern day Abstergo plotline.
Yeah.
I like that storyline in the games, and you know what? The first movie has established it. It doesn't have to push it any further as of now. I think you could honestly just find one really great ancestor and just tell their story, and then find a way to fold it into the narrative later, like in another movie. And I think that could be interesting at least. Yeah. And to be honest, even Assassin's Creed, the games have kind of done that a little bit recently. Like, what Syndicate had the FMV non-interactive modern day stuff.
Super, yeah. I mean, it's just
barely there.
Barely there, yeah. Even the ending, it's like, what?
And Unity had none. Unity had no modern day story.
Really?
Occasionally, you'd hear Rebecca and Sean talk into the, like, you would hear like a voice of God kind of thing during a glitch in the system, but there is no, you never play as somebody in the modern day. There's no first person or movie sequences or anything of a modern day character. And to be honest, it was nice to have a sort of purity of vision of like, here is just this is this game in Revolution era France, and that's it. It worked. I mean, I love the modern narrative. I like what they're doing with it in the games.
Yeah.
But
it just didn't work in the film.
It would have made it just a better movie, just to have like, just show me a period assassin movie. It would have been better.
Well.
So,
I have better news than that.
Yo, gimme.
So, even though I've already like posted it all over social media, I don't care. I want to talk about it again because last week I went to Rockwell Table and Stage in Los Feliz and got to see my idol, who I have loved my entire life, Tim Curry, perform.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was so good. He did old Broadway standards with some other people. I think it was Patricia Quinn with him who played. See, I was so enamored with him that I wasn't even paying attention to who all the other people were. But she was Magenta in the original Rocky Horror, and they kept talking about how they hadn't worked together in like 30 years. This is like their first time on stage together in 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, and they did mention Rocky Horror. And I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that is her. So anyhow, but it was really good. The sad thing is, I mean, his health is in a decline. Yeah. He had a stroke and he's in a wheelchair. And even though he sounded great and he was on point, it just kind of broke my heart a little bit because I just hold him in such high regard that it just kind of made me think of, that's life. That's it.
Well,
take it while you can, because one day you might not have like the health you've had for how many years you've already had it.
Well,
so.
I mean, I remember telling everybody, because everyone kept saying, 2016's killing everybody. And it's like, well, celebrities that we looked up to are all getting older. They're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
And as we get older, more and more people that we grew up idolizing and caring about are going to go. And it sucks. I mean, like, David Bowie was a big surprise. Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming.
Prince.
Prince, yeah. But, like, still, I do feel like each year is only going to be
Carrie
progressively
Fisher. There was
more,
a lot of
yeah,
really sad deaths last year.
I do feel like every year though is going to be maybe not like full of as many surprises, but it's just gonna be full of a lot of more natural causes, kind of deaths of people that we grew up idolizing, and it is sad to see because Tim Curry, to me, he'll always be the voice of Gabriel Knight from the first Gabriel Knight game. Oh God,
yes, he was also in the Frankenstein game. It was like a point and click, kind of like Myst was.
Oh yeah,
he was Dr. Frankenstein, and you played the monster.
That's cool. I never played that one.
Yeah, I can't remember the title.
He and Christopher Lloyd were in a lot of PC games.
Yeah,
back in the day.
Yeah, they just have those voices that are original and unique, and they're really good at what they do.
And Tim Curry did a hell of a Cajun accent or Creole, but he did like a Louisiana drawl for Gabriel Knight, and he did that for Gabriel Knight 1 and 3, because 2 was the live action one, and they didn't use him for that. But as soon as it went back to voice acting, it was him again.
Wow. Yeah. If you don't know who Tim Curry is and you're listening to this, you should totally look him up on IMDb. Like, he has
Rent Annie,
the original. Rent Legend, Stephen King's It, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh God, It.
Clue, Home Alone 2.
Clue.
He's in everything that was ever good in the 90s and maybe early 2000s. I don't know.
Yeah.
He started to phase off in the 2000s, but he did, he was King Arthur in Spam-A-Lot, so that was like...
I didn't know that.
He was so good. So, but anyhow, so my little story is that in 8th grade, because I was obsessed with Muppet Treasure Island, he plays Long John Silver in Muppet Treasure Island. And so I was obsessed with him, and I was young, and I didn't have any money, and I was at Target with my family. And my brother and I, we always went to like the area with the music, the video games, and the coloring books. And I was looking through the coloring books, and they had a Muppet Treasure Island one, and I opened it, and it had those perforated cards that you could just like rip out and like collect. Mm-hmm. And of course, being the bad little girl that I was, I took that card because I didn't want the whole damn book. I just wanted that one card. And, I felt so bad though. But I still have it, and I laminated it with Scotch tape, and I have kept it in my wallet to this day since 8th grade. So that's 22 years or something like that.
I need to see this later.
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll show you the card in person, but I have it, a picture of it that I'll post on Instagram because it's just so cute. But yeah, that's my story, and I got to meet him, and it was kind of one of those moments where you're like, I might never get to see this person perform ever again, and in person, because he doesn't really go out that much anymore, and he never did before. Yeah. So it was just one of those life-changing moments where I had like, oh, this is when I meet like the idol I've always had as a child. So yeah, that was really fun.
That's super cool.
Yeah. So
nice.
And then another thing that wasn't so great was you lent me Street Fighter V last week. And I was really obsessed because I wanted to play Street Fighter V because I started following this girl named her name's Ricky Ortiz, and she's a professional Street Fighter gamer, and she happens to be trans also. And I followed her on Twitch and Instagram, and she followed me back. So we're now following each other, and I kind of got obsessed with, I want to play Street Fighter now. Poison's in it. They have a trans character. It's inclusive. Oh, this is going to be great. I get the damn game, and they cut Poison out of Street Fighter V. They left her out.
So the last one she was in was 4?
She was in 4, and the reason that they didn't bring her back was, their claim at first was that she was too generic of a character to bring back. And I'm thinking, nobody else looks like her. Nobody else has her story. She's been around since the 8-bit days. She isn't generic. If anybody's generic, it's who you based other characters from like that era. Yeah. So, and then I went on to read in another article that I forget that he's the director, or his Ono, however you pronounce that. Ono. He decided that they didn't want to confuse the players with her gender because it was such a confusion in Street Fighter 4.
Really?
Okay.
That's
the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
No.
This whole podcast is going to be like lots of transiness going on because there's a lot of things happening, especially
there's a lot of stuff out there.
Mass Effect 2 is getting a lot, or 2.
Also,
where am I going?
2 also.
2 also.
Yeah, Mass Effect as well.
As well. Mass Effect Andromeda is getting a little bit of,
yeah.
Poking the ribs.
But yeah, that is a bummer about Street Fighter 5. Did you buy Hot Ryu though, or Warrior Ryu as it is, or something like that?
I didn't.
Yeah, throw down the couple bucks, get Harry.
The reason
Ryu.
I didn't is because
if you don't play as him, I guess it doesn't matter.
I don't play as him, and I think the Ryu is already hot.
He has weird, like, cupcake frosting hair, though.
No, but you can play the old version, too.
Oh, that's much better, because, his weird little spiky
little
shit,
bang.
It looks like a piping bag was used to make his hair.
Yeah, he has weird, it's like little cones.
Yeah.
But you could play his original costume.
That's good to know.
And it's really super cute. Yeah, I was, I've been sticking to Chun-Li and Cammy, the OGs. And there's this new girl named Laura who's Brazilian, and she's pretty dope too. So she has
Is she the one in the onesie, or like the one-piece leotard thing?
Isn't that Cammy?
No, it's like blue, like a wrestling outfit. Or am I thinking of another character?
No. You're thinking of the wrestler. She's like Zangief's fan.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a completely different character. Yeah, but but I'm having fun playing it, even though I suck. I fucking suck.
I never really fully even got started in Street Fighter 5. I sat at the Capcom Cup for the finals. Okay. Watching Ricky get like knocked out pretty early and then kind of fighting her way back and finishing in second.
That's so
good. And it was so cool. And a friend of mine, at least, like, he gave me the backstory on all of the various people competing.
Contenders, yeah.
Yeah, and it was really actually interesting. I've never gotten that excited about esports before, and
that's so cool though.
I was rooting for her so hard. It was super cool to see.
That's so awesome. Yeah, and she actually was just invited to, there's a new tournament coming up, and the freaking grand prize or first prize is $250,000.
Jesus.
What the fuck? That is so much money. So I hope she wins.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I would ask what else you're playing, but I think we all probably know.
I've been living, breathing, eat, and sleeping Mass Effect Andromeda. When I can play games, that's what I've been doing, honestly. There ain't nothing else out there right now that I have other than Street Fighter 5, and I can only get my ass kicked so many times. So.
And what are your impressions so far on Mass Effect?
Mass Effect: A New Hope. That was the title of this article I wrote. It's got potential. There are a lot of updates I think that need to happen in like a major update.
Yeah.
And I think the beginning of the game is kind of slow. It's a little bit juvenile. It's very like pandering, and it just doesn't give me what I wanted from like a game that's set 600 years in the future. Like, why does it just feel like it's not as advanced as Mass Effect 3?
So I've been nodding this whole time. I imagine you couldn't hear that. But yeah, no,
true,
I totally agree with you. Because as we talked about before, like the animations being a little troublesome doesn't really bother me that much.
No, but did you see me post that picture on Twitter today?
I don't think so.
I walk in this one part of the game, I walk in and talk to one of my crewmates, and he's talking to some alien species that you interact with. and they're like switching uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
And somehow the way that the character kept moving with the other character, it looked like his body was morphing into a third body. It was really bad. I was like, how many people are in this room? But it was only 2. It didn't make any sense.
Well, it's like I haven't had any weird, crazy like animation problems, but the thing I'm having a hard time with though are the tech issues.
What's that?
Like just at this point, I'm having texture pop in all the time. My characters froze mid-run for about 2 seconds while it loaded, I think.
Yeah, mine does that.
Like just in general, like the game, it doesn't look as nice as Mass Effect 2 or 3 did, and we're on another console generation at this point.
Yeah, this is PS4, not 3.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of surprised is all. I do feel like a lot of this could be patched. I feel like the game was probably rushed out.
5 years though.
I know. Well, and
I'm not bashing this game because it is a fun game, but it's got some work that needs to be done still. That's where we're going with this.
Yeah, it has a rough start. It actually reminds me a lot of Mass Effect 1, which is not necessarily good. Mass Effect 1 was not the best. 2 was fantastic because it learned a lot.
I think 2 was the best.
Yeah, 2 learned a lot from what 1 did wrong. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Andromeda has forgotten what 2 and 3 did right.
Oh.
And it's not bad. I mean, like, but I was talking to some friends about it today, and I feel like if this were my first Mass Effect game, I would not finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is my 4th, I'm really excited about finishing it. I'm also 17 hours in at this point, and I found the fun at about maybe 5 hours in.
Yeah, I found the fun once you get to like the end of the first world you have to kind of work on. I think that's when you start to get to know your crew.
Exactly. Yeah.
You start to understand like the handling of your character and how to maneuver.
And everything sort of opens up a little bit. Like once I finally unlocked all my biotics that I wanted, the game got better for me.
Yeah.
Because the first action sequence, I had none of the abilities I wanted. And I was just like, well, this kind of sucks.
Yeah. I couldn't figure out how to switch my weapon. It was just bad for me.
Well, the menus are definitely different than the game has handled in the past. With regard to like your loadout and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
And right now I don't have the attachment to my crew that I did in Mass Effect 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. But also though, Mass Effect 2 and 3 had an entire game to get me ready, to appreciate everyone in 2 so much. And by the time the trilogy was completed, these characters were, I mean, some of them I knew so well. Like I didn't really, I didn't romance Garrus, but I knew all about him and I still enjoyed him. Mm-hmm. And so we had 3 games to get to know a crew.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to judge this by the same, standards.
Yeah.
And so I have to keep remembering to kind of pull back and just sort of accept it.
But I'm going to use the analogy from Star Trek The Next Generation. Everybody loved that, if you're a fan.
I've never actually watched it.
Oh my God.
I know.
You never seen Star Trek The Next Generation?
No, that's the Patrick Stewart one, right?
Oh my God.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, no, I never did.
Are you kidding me? Well, you have a lot of seasons.
Is that the one that Will Wheaton was on?
Yeah, Will Wheaton. What's his name who plays Q? Who's so amazing. God, his name escapes me right now. Yeah.
I've watched...
Will Riker is in it.
Is that the one that Whoopi Goldberg
Beverly
was in?
Crusher, yes. She plays Guinan.
I think I've seen maybe like 45 minutes of that show with Todd. Like just on TV in passing, but I've never actually watched that show.
So good. Well, anyhow, so you're something to look forward to for you. Yeah, it's so good. You'll love it. But the character from the very first episode is in Pet Sematary because we were talking about Pet Sematary last week. The woman, I forget her name in Pet Sematary. The blonde girl, short blonde hair.
The mom.
The mom.
Oh, okay.
She, she's in the first episode or first few episodes, and it's around the same time that shot, so she has the exact same look. It's funny.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So anyhow, but So my analogy is Star Trek The Next Generation, you love it. You think, oh, I'll never fall in love with another Star Trek. Voyager comes out, and you love Captain Janeway in the first episode because she's just so compelling, and it's such a great, first episode. Andromeda did not have a very good first episode, is where I'm going.
Are we comparing Andromeda to Deep Space Nine or something? To go into was that the Star Trek that no one liked?
No, it was people like Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
There was another one he was a male captain, a white male captain. I can't remember
I just don't
what
know
it was
Star
called.
Trek. But yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do feel that Mass Effect is on the upside, it has me. It roped me in as a fan several games ago.
I'm going to play it through.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to more of it.
Totally.
But yeah, it is not everything I'd hoped it would be out the gate.
Right. Can we talk about some of the controversies in it?
Before we get there though, you are playing as
Femchat.
Femriker.
Femride.
Femride.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ryder, not Riker. Yeah.
Ryder.
So, and yeah, I'm playing as male Ryder.
Yeah. He's hot.
It's weird. He has really spotty facial hair.
Real? Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
He can't grow a full beard.
No.
Yeah. Well, did you go with the generic?
I did. Although I kind of wish I hadn't.
I made my own.
Well,
but you know what? I looked through the faces of your guys, and you're better off he was the hottest of all of them. The other ones look so generic. Well,
and it's weird. In the previous Mass Effect games, they actually I don't know if they licensed, but they built the default male shepherd off of a real man, off of a model.
Yeah, they did this too for this one.
And so it felt this is a person who looks like a person.
Yeah.
And then if you changed one thing in Mass Effect 1, he became this weird monster. Yeah. And he looked fine from one angle, but you saw him from another angle and you're just like, oh God.
Oh, that's what happened to me in this one.
And so I sort of realized that and I was like, you know what? I'd rather he actually look like a person with everything in its right place, even if he's not really my bag, instead of me trying to create something that looks like I've sinned against nature.
Oh, God.
And so I kind of had the same logic with this one where I was like, all right, we'll just go with the default. He might be kind of bland. I wish he had different eye color because I don't like those sort of icy blue eyes on him. I wish he had darker eyes. But
I wish you could customize him.
Yeah, I wish you could change little facets of him.
That's what I was hoping for with Sarah.
Yeah. Instead, you have to throw the whole damn thing away.
You throw her out, and I started. And Sarah's customization is not good either. It's
really?
Also very putty people, and mine looks okay. I definitely had to throw her out. I played the first sequence in the game, and I was just like, oh, I couldn't get past her porn star gloss on her lips, and she just looked like she was a Botox hoe and a Beverly Hills housewife, and I just could not play. I was like, I cannot command this galaxy looking like a bimbo. So I had to start over, and I had to start the whole character creation from scratch again, but I went through it because I just couldn't do it. But I didn't want the default character either because I love being able to customize my own character.
Yeah.
So anyhow, she turned out okay, and I've gotten used to her, so we're cool. We cool now. We cool. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. So yeah, there's some other games I want to talk about of other stuff I'm playing as well, but we can get to that later because they're all little bits and pieces. Do you want to talk about some controversy?
Yes, bring on the contra.
Well, one thing I read, Polygon had an article written by a trans writer saying that Zelda, Mass Effect Andromeda, and Horizon all struggle introducing their trans characters.
Yep.
Which I don't know if I actually felt that the character in Zelda that they are talking about is trans.
Are they talking about Link?
No.
Oh, the one with the
the character that gives you the gear to get into the all-female village. I actually felt that that was a male character who who figured out how to sort of beat the system.
Yeah.
And that he's training you to do the same.
Just living that existence.
Yeah. And I didn't really feel it was a trans role so much as it just was an NPC who figured something out.
Totally.
So that one I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Horizon, I actually haven't encountered that character, so I can't really speak of him. But Mass Effect Andromeda and like I of course I can't speak to this. This is not my experience.
Mm-hmm.
But like I have actually encountered this character. Have you encountered her?
Yes.
And so
are you talking about Hanley?
Yeah. Yeah. And so the situation of why Hanley was called out is when you ask her what brought her to Andromeda,
mm-hmm.
she says, "Oh, back home, everyone knew me as Steven, and I was really unhappy about it."
Yeah, she says, "Back home, I was filling test tubes in some dead-end lab. People knew me as Steven, but that was never who I was." That's her quote.
And so a lot of people are saying that to ask like why someone is here and for them to just instantly... the article used the phrase dead name.
I hate that phrase, but that's the phrase that's used.
And I was actually, and like I kind of was curious, because yeah, it's definitely like to dead name yourself that quickly also is kind of a weird thing. And I know a couple people feel different ways about both the term dead name and also just kind of with their relationship to it. And so I kind of want to get your thoughts on like. First off, this character and like I was, if you're okay talking about it, I was curious about your sensitivity to
Hanley. It's kind of an interesting thing because if the game didn't tell you she's trans, like if there wasn't a reason to know she was trans, you would never know because she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
The character is a woman. And she's even voiced by a cis female actress.
Yes.
So even if she was trans, you as a gamer would have never known. So that would have never come across. So what would have been the point?
Yeah.
But I was trying, to use her quote unquote dead name.
Or pre-transition name.
Yeah.
Or a softer way of
the name she's given at birth. Yeah. To use it in like the first, like in your introduction to somebody is kind of, nobody does that. Like nobody would do that who's trans. Obviously, I'm thinking that the writers did not have a trans correspondent to look over this. BioWare did have a trans or gender non-conforming correspondent for Dragon Age Inquisition with Krem.
And it sounds like Krem was a really, really dynamic character who actually had some depth.
Hanley, like Krem, though, is also a non-playable character, which sucks. Hanley does gives a quest giver, right? Is that the term? She's a quest giver.
Yeah.
So
much like the trans character in Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Right. Where's my main trans characters? You took away my poison. What do I have now? So the problem is that, okay, you wouldn't do that if you're trans. And then I was thinking, well, how could you bring it in? And some different stories that I came up with, because I was like, okay, well, maybe somebody found like her medication, thought she was smuggling drugs or something.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to look into it. They brought it to like, what is this? Oh, this is like hormone therapy. Whose is it? Da da da. And they traced it back to Hanley. That could have been a way to maybe come into that.
Yeah.
Or another way that would have been totally legit, because it happens all the time, as horrible as it is she could have been outed at the Vortex, the club. Somebody could have been hitting on her and the friends would go, hey, did you know that she's trans?
Yeah.
And that could have been a perfectly legit way it would have happened. Not that
it would have been unpleasant.
It would have been unpleasant, but that's what happens in life.
Yeah.
No trans person gives their quote-unquote dead name when they're introducing themselves.
Because, like what Watch Dogs 2, the trans character in that, she's a quest giver. Mm-hmm. And part of it is that there is potentially some, like, dirt on her, or I think it's something from her past that is a problem. And so, and it's sort of never really explicitly said, but like, you know, this character has sort of had almost like like a whole different sort of, you know, faction of their life, or a different section of their life that they are now, you know, free of.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting because, you know, just it did feel very like, well, it's exposition. It has to go somewhere. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, you see that kind of rushed narrative for all of the queer characters in Andromeda. Like the gay characters, there isn't very many options for a gay man on as far as I know. I think there's only 2 mateable characters in the game.
Well, I know there's a character that I have not met yet.
Okay.
But then there's one that's
when you have like 12 options for like a male or like a straight relationship if you're playing Scott Ryder, and you have like 6 options if you're playing Sarah Ryder in a straight relationship. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, and even then, like, there was no gay male relationship available in Mass Effect until Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, that's true.
In Mass Effect 1 and 2, you could have
flirtations.
Well, and as a woman, you could have a gay relationship technically with Asari, since Asari, officially Asari is a single gender species, I believe.
Or even gender non-conforming, like they don't have a gender per se.
But most of them represent female.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, like they, and so because of that, though, you could kind of have like a lesbian thing with Asari in the first one. I don't think you'd have a relationship, you have encounters, sort of thing. And then the second game, I think, actually opened up relationships, and then it took until the third game to get we got a new gay male character, and then they outed another character or made him an option. Yeah. And of course, that character was already dead in my game because he died in the first one.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
I don't remember which character it was.
Kaiden could be, he was technically bisexual, I guess, because he was a romance option for either Shepard.
He could be on your team, right?
Yeah, it's either him or Ashley. And so they were on the team in the first game.
Gotcha.
And unfortunately, he died in my first game, and I was stuck with Ashley, and she kind of sucked.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well, like I told you before, I lost my girl, Tiana. What was her? Tali.
She was my girl.
I lost Tali in 2.
That's heartbreaking.
I sent her through a furnace and it burned her.
Tali and Jack, they were my girls. Love them.
God, I miss Jack. I wish they would have put Jack in cryo.
I would love a crazy out of control biotic, because I mean, yeah, like Jack was dangerous.
Yeah, like
she was a danger to herself and others, and there's a reason why she was a little out of control. Yeah, and I would love a character like that.
I think they played it a little safe for these characters.
Yeah. But, you know, it'll get there, I guess. I imagine they're saying it.
But on the happier note, Jean Garson, she's voiced by Jamie Clayton.
Yes, actually, I was just looking up that character's name.
Yeah.
Because it is cool they actually have
and
Jamie's trans actress.
Yeah, she's trans. She was in Sense8, and she's done other stuff. And yeah, so that's amazing that they have a trans actress voicing one of the characters who's, you know, and Jean Garrison is the Andromeda Initiative founder. Yeah. So basically this is all happening because of this character who happens to be voiced by a trans actress. Yeah. So that's something.
It is. Actually, I think that's actually it's a bummer to not have better trans representation, but it's great, I think, to give trans actors work that isn't
a trans
that isn't relegated to
that's amazing
to their specific life experience. That actually I think is a very
notable.
I want to say admirable, because it shouldn't have to be admirable. It's a very notable move. I think that's very cool.
Totally.
So yeah, and of course, not to make it, you know, not all about me or anything, but no, I was saying, like, it was interesting, like, with the reveal.
Why I always make it about me.
Well, like, the reveal of the trans character in it. I feel like I was just thinking about, like, I don't know if they've ever really done like a really. I guess there's been like only a handful of good gay reveals in games. Like I feel like
who are you thinking of?
I like the Ellie moment in the Left Behind DLC for Last
that
of Us
was
is beautiful.
Great moment.
But then even then, like there's a character actually in the game Indigo Prophecy. Did you ever play that?
No.
It was released as Fahrenheit overseas, and here it was called Indigo Prophecy. It's on the PS2 and the original Xbox and PC. I think it might have actually come out for iOS recently. It is a game from Quantic Dream. They ended up making Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah.
It's a similar style of game where you have to make the choices, and they ripple throughout. And one of the main characters that you play as, her neighbor, I think it's her neighbor, is gay. And it's just, and like he's just an NPC. He's just kind of there to give her someone to talk to. But even then, like I remember thinking, like I don't know, I think he was actually one of the first gay characters I'd ever seen in a game. And he's just introduced as this person who just exists, that he just is there. That's
kind of like in the New 52, the comic series Catwoman. Her roommate is trans, and she just happened to be trans, and it's not really a thing. You just know she's trans.
Just like that's who she is, and she's there.
She is, and she's there. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that in this is my own guilty little hope, is that in Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, Chloe and Nadine have a little fling going on.
That'd be cool.
That'd be amazing. Or Chloe reveals that she's trans.
You've had that theory for a while.
She's trans. I don't care if it comes out or not. I'm telling you right now, okay? I'm not spreading rumors. It's just what it is.
Nice.
Uh-oh. Naughty Dog's going to come after me now. Like, wait a second.
No, I'm sure they welcome theories on characters and people talking about them and, giving them additional life.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So whenever you talk about Chloe in any of your tweets or whatever, you just say #trans is beautiful. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. Who's your crush?
Oh my, we're going straight to crushes.
I mean,
Jeez.
might as well. Unless, I don't know, I kind of want to talk about my crush.
Oh, well, we can go to crushes. We can do that. And then we can come back to some other little rando stuff.
No, well, let's do rando stuff.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, like, as we were talking about, how Mass Effect definitely needs some patches.
Yeah. Oh, God,
just to address some stuff. It is kind of wonderful that we are in, like, the days of patching. It's kind of strange that discs, if you were to play them in an offline capacity now, it's not the same game that anyone else would experience. And just this week, there have been some notable patches that are worth talking about. First off, Final Fantasy 15 got its patch, I think, today.
What'd they do?
They fixed the weirdest chapter of the game. Like, had you heard about that?
The stealth chapter.
Yes, well, it's like stealthy, but also like you have a power that you can fight, kind of. It's just really terrible.
Yeah.
And the chapter is not good, but at least it's super long. Like, it just lasts forever.
Yeah. I watched Travis play it. It was regrettable.
Awful. I mean, not awful. It's just so different. And for you spending all this time building your relationships with your friends and getting all your powers kind of like in check, to have everything stripped from you that close to the end of the game makes little to no sense.
Correct.
And so they have updated that. So there's a new version of Chapter 13 you can play. And
sweet. Did you play it?
Not yet. I need to download it and do it. I want to say it's a 20-minute chapter now. It gives you a different perspective because it gives you the story from another character. I believe. I'm not sure. I've only seen what I've read and just little pieces here and there. But yeah, it's supposed to be and even if you finish the game, you can launch the updated Chapter 13 from the main menu so you can still experience it.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Which I think that's a really cool move.
That's awesome. And everybody complained about it, so I'm glad they actually did something about it.
And yeah, part of me always kind of wants someone to stick to their guns and like kind of, if they decided to do something a certain way, to sort of own it. Like, that's how I felt about Mass Effect 3's ending. I was like, I was okay with the ending. And you know what? That was their story they wanted to say.
Yeah.
I like that they made DLC to sort of flesh it out further.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a huge problem with it.
I didn't either, but for some reason, some people are really passionate about not liking that ending.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess a lot of people felt they'd put a lot of time into these characters, and all of a sudden, they just didn't feel that was honored. But like, you know, really, it is BioWare's story. You can love it or hate it. They don't have to change things for you.
This is like the BioWare episode.
It is.
I feel like we always touch upon their work because we're just huge fans of it, but this is like all BioWare. Because I have another little story I wanted to bring up now that you reminded me.
And then the other patch that was noteworthy that was worth talking about is Dark Souls 3.
Ooh.
It just got a patch for PS4 Pro, unlocking the frame rate. So now instead of a locked 30, you are running at, I think, anywhere
40?
from 45 to 60, depending on the scene. And I have actually installed that and run it so I can see
smooth.
it. It is lovely. And it's just in time for the Ringed City DLC,
Nice.
which comes out tomorrow. And I'm very excited. And as much as I've been enjoying Mass Effect's going to get put on the side until I finish the Ringed City DLC because
God, how can you do that?
Dark Souls DLC waits for no one.
I know. I kind of I did some Uncharted multiplayer the other day.
Oh, cheating on Mass Effect.
And every time I go back to that game though, it's like starting Battlefront all over again. You just suck. I suck at it again. You get to that plateau and then you just go downward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Any other?
That's it. Those are my two big
That's
noteworthy
pretty good.
patches that we're talking about. Because
I know also a huge patch that happened like last week or the week before was No Man's Sky got a huge update.
Another one, yeah.
Yeah, and my roommate has been playing it, and he loves No Man's Sky. He's the only person I've ever heard that said, I am obsessed with this game. Really? Yeah. Okay, fine.
Well, I do feel like...
It's beautiful.
Was he following it through all of its marketing, or did he just play it when it came out?
He played it just recently, so he got the good version.
And I do feel like, yeah, just if you come at it without expectation, it's probably pretty great, like because you can just accept it for what it is instead of accepting it for what you expected it to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the potential of what it could have been.
Yeah.
What's I rewatched The Matrix Reloaded a little bit ago.
Oh, I like that's
the second one. It's really not that bad. It's not The Matrix, and that's its biggest flaw. But
they're remaking The Matrix, by the way.
Well, yeah, I hear they're rebooting.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the Wachowskis, as far as I know.
It could still be good, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I do feel like it's a world that has more stories to tell.
If they do anything like they did with Total Recall, I'm going to throw up.
I didn't mind that Total Recall remake, which I think makes me a bad person.
Yes.
But I'll see anything Colin Farrell's in, especially when he's walking around in sweatpants.
Really? I don't like Colin Farrell.
You are
just
crazy.
Because I don't... Maybe I just don't like the stories I hear about him personally. So I'm like, I can't get into it.
I love him.
I did like him, though, in the Fantastic Beasts.
Which I've not seen yet.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's so good.
I think that comes out on Blu-ray tomorrow.
Really?
Yes, tomorrow.
Oh, great announcement. Also announced Destiny 2.
Oh, yeah.
Officially.
Yeah. And by tomorrow of when that movie comes out, I mean yesterday for all of you at home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. By tomorrow, we mean yesterday because we're filming or recording this on Monday.
We're looking into the future.
Yes.
But yeah, I think I'll probably end up trying to buy movies I haven't seen anymore. But we have all of the Harry Potters, so I feel like we're probably going to end up with all the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Oh, but it was good. So, I really liked the first one.
So I think we'll probably buy the 4K Blu-ray so we can finally see it. Because, we have not gotten around to watching that yet. So that's all my stuff.
Okay, well, I have... This is the funniest article. Okay, it's called... Not So Model Behavior. BioWare accused of deliberately making Mass Effect Andromeda female characters ugly.
That is an amazing headline.
Not so model behavior. Okay, so gamers claim the hit title's characters have been quote unquote sexed down to make them more politically correct. I don't know. Gamers... Does
that make them ugly?
Well, it says gamers claim to have noticed something very strange about the much anticipated Mass Effect Andromeda release. They have accused game developer BioWare of making its characters ugly. Several have pointed out that the women in Mass Effect appear less attractive than the men. And, well, you'll see that in character creation because you can make these women pretty... They show a side-by-side of the voice actor and the character that is based off of her and the one that's based off of him, and he looks like a god and then she looks like a creature, like
like a lagoon creature.
Well, look, it's like Gollum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not so cute.
Well,
she's
but yeah,
so round in her features.
Yeah, I do
so
feel
weird.
I do feel like between like the twins, the Ryder twins, the female one definitely got the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like in general, most NPCs that are human should have just been replaced by aliens because they all look terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they just, but you know, like, I feel like people just don't look right in those games.
Here's the one who they did, the Scott Ryder.
Oh, geez. It actually looks like him.
I know. I want to like marry him to keep it PC.
All right, fine.
So yeah. So ugly women in Mass Effect. It's true.
Some of the Asari are really,
and some of the men aren't that great
ugly.
Either.
The Asari are actually quite pretty.
But you know what? They gave a lot of really round features in this game, where in the other ones they were very like they're sharper features.
Yeah, much more statuesque.
And I am very attracted to sharper features, so these round features are just not. They're just not doing it for me. However, Scott Ryder I think, is the only character in the game who has sharp features.
Yeah. I can see that. He's the one with like a not round head.
Yeah, even the Asaris are round.
Yeah, and it's interesting. PB has eyebrows.
Oh, yeah.
She's the first Asari to have eyebrows, I believe.
Oh my goodness. Do you think that was a mistake?
I don't know. I mean, she has that sort of like dark
mask,
sort of mask across her anyway.
She's what's her name from Mad Max?
Furiosa. Yeah. So, I gotta say the one thing I'm kind of enjoying, even though it was unexpected, is that a lot of the races that I felt I knew because of the initial trilogy, they're definitely kind of spinning them all on their head a little bit. Like the fact that PB, the Asari you end up encountering eventually, that like she is kind of ADD and she's all over the place and she's really hyperactive almost, but she's also kind of cagey. She doesn't want to get to know you, and I feel like comparing that to Liara and Samara, who are so zen and kind of just very they're just so centered. Like I like that PB's kind of all over the place, and I feel like the Krogan are definitely just a warrior class of race in Mass Effect, but even one of the Krogan is a sort of high up person in command of some stuff, and it's a female Krogan, and I feel like I don't think we ever really got to know a female Krogan before.
I thought she was just a very effeminate male Krogan.
No, that's
on the Nexus.
Yeah, she's Drax's granddaughter.
Yeah,
and like
I didn't know that, and then when he was talking about her on the ship, I was like, wait a second. I know that Krogan.
It's like I love that we actually get to know like a female Krogan.
Yeah,
and
but there were female Krogan in 3.
There were,
and they had like they had like the desert kind of look to them.
But like they weren't really a character you got to talk to a whole lot, who had like an opinion about things, right? I mean, they were just sort of,
I feel
like
you
tribe.
got to know one of them because she was dying, or you're trying to save someone.
It's been too long.
It's been a while.
But also even then getting to meet some there's a female Turian.
Oh yeah, she's
on your
cool.
on your
squad, and I have her in my team.
And so it's kind of cool because we got so used to Garrus, and so I like the fact that a lot of the races you think you know kind of, or you got to know one person or one of them so well that you kind of just assume they all are like that. And so it's kind of cool to actually have like the gender flip on some and just different character types.
Well, they definitely took characters from the original trilogy that you could put in your team, and they kind of mimicked the same characters for this one. Mm-hmm. So that I think it's just for comfort.
But there's a slight remix element to it.
There's a remix. Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk crushes.
Oh, yeah, I have a crush. Yeah. He's not that great.
Well, you're really selling it so
after
far.
all that. No, I think he's really cute. So Street Fighter V. Rashid.
Oh,
Rashid,
okay.
I think.
Yeah.
He's he kind of looks like Aladdin.
Oh, okay.
He has the whirlwind power. He's so cute. He has like that very naive kind of appeal to him. Like he's like, "Oh, I beat you? I didn't know I could beat you. You're so powerful." That kind of like, "Oh, I didn't mean to, but I guess I'm just that good." I'm like, "Oh, he's a little shiesty."
Yeah, it's like that could bother me a lot because seriously, like my least favorite winning phrase from Smash Brothers is Princess Peach's "Ooh, did I win?" I hate that.
No, but he doesn't say it in a way that seems like he's being an asshole. Yeah. He says in a way like, "Oh, I can't believe I actually won." It's very charming.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's got great forearms.
Oh, nice.
But I think everybody in Street Fighter has great forearms.
Everybody in Street Fighter has some like pretty crazy rockin' body, except for that one guy who looks like he swallowed a beach ball.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Birdie.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
So he's shaped like Roadhog from Overwatch.
He was from another Street Fighter, the one with Rose.
I did not know that.
There's like Street Fighter Turbo Remix.
Alpha.
That's
Alpha?
it.
Oh
yeah.
Man, look at that.
Look at you.
Let me pulling out
You know,
rando guesses.
Yes. It was Alpha. Good job.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, Rashid. Not my typical kind of guy I'm into because I usually like the very like headstrong kind of guys, but yeah, I fell for that one.
Well, and check the Instagrams. I'm sure you'll post a photo once
I was
this episode
looking for
goes
some
live.
sexy photos of him, but they don't really have any out there. I guess he's not really like thought of that way.
You can just do a game shot. Game shots can be sexy.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a game shot.
Well, my crush is, I was just thinking about it, Shovel Knight.
What?
He's not too tall. He's the quiet type.
You don't even know what he looks like.
Yeah, I'm
he could
kind
be
of into
Shrek under there.
I'm kind of into it. Like he's dedicated to the cause. And
what if he's like this emaciated old 200-year-old man thing?
I don't know. I like the idea of Shovel Knight. I like what Shovel Knight stands for.
I think he like S&M and bondage.
Well, and also actually, I wanted to point out another one that's sort of another cool idea of game inclusion.
Wait, Shovel Knight. I want to hear. I want more.
No, I like that.
I want you to keep going with this because this is so intriguing.
I like that
actually.
Shovel Knight is dedicated to for Shield Knight.
Okay.
Like he's
in love.
He's committed.
He's committed.
And there's something about him. Just I like he seems to have a very like a furrowed brow, and it's just the faceplate. But it seems like he's very just like ready to go. And I like that he's built like Mega Man, and that he's not too tall, and he's just kind of built like a little like square guy who runs around for chivalry. I mean, come on.
So when I think of Shovel Knight and Shield Knight, I think of Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit. It makes no sense, but it works somehow because she's like this statuesque knight and she's tall and like slender and he's this little stout little guy and I'm like, huh. Okay.
He strikes me actually as he'd be played by he's like a dwarf. With like from Tolkien, when it comes to like his
in your
proportion.
feature film, who would play Shovel Knight?
Oh God! Well, it's like now you mentioned like Roger Rabbit. I'm thinking like Bob Hoskins.
Ew,
like Bob Hoskins was hot. He was.
Was he?
Yeah, just it's a different type than he's not going to be in the pages of any magazine, but he's he was hot because he was just a straight up like man.
Yeah.
But also I was gonna say with Shovel Knight, that's kind of cool. On the Switch,
Bob Hoskins as Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
In Shovel Knight the film.
But like as except that he's he's dead now.
I know. What about what's his face? Who played Frodo?
Really, Elijah Wood?
Elijah Wood.
Nah,
Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight's much more like I think Elijah Wood is stuck in a sort of permanent. I want to say adolescence, but like he will always be like 24 years old to me. Like he's never going to be like a full on like adult.
Yeah.
And I feel like Shovel Knight is. I feel like he's almost like Oh God, I'm trying to think. Like it feels like almost like not. I want to say like the Hound from Game of Thrones because of all the burns, but like someone like of that level of gruffness almost.
Really?
That's why I feel like he is.
I did not get that at all.
That's what I get.
This is very interesting.
But like one thing that's kind of that I was gonna say that is really cool about like the Switch version of Shovel Knight. And I don't know if they patched it into other versions or not. I think they added called Body Swap.
Okay.
Where you can change the both gender appearance of all of the knights, both like your player character and enemy types.
Oh wow.
And the enchantress. You can change like how they appear in cutscenes and in game.
Okay.
And also what pronouns they want.
Oh, that's
or what
so
pronouns
cool.
they identify by. And so you can actually have Shovel Knight going after a male Shield Knight.
That's pretty cool.
Or you can have a feminine Shovel Knight. And like it's kind of cool. They were just like, you know what, why not?
Why not?
And so they added these extra...
Something extra, yeah.
Yeah, they had these extra versions where they use the same sort of... They always try to keep them in the same world of that character. So Spectre Knight still is this sort of floating thing with like a face mask.
Yeah.
But they did small touches that just sort of made it a little bit more feminine. Like even Shovel Knight
Slender.
is pretty much genderless, but they gave him a little bit of a curve, like a little more curvature, but not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like Shield Knight is, I want to say almost the same, except they just flattened the breastplate to be more like Shovel Knight's.
Oh, cool.
And like it's little touches. And like the Enchantress, I think, got the biggest sort of redesign, but even then, he's still pretty flowy, just because he's an evil wizard now.
Yeah.
Like, and so it's the similar. They really didn't do huge they didn't diverge from the character that hard, but it's just a cool thing that they didn't have to include that at all. No one was beating down their door, I'm assuming. So
well, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that. I think Shovel Knight's one of those games that like every time they do an update, it's really fun.
They keep doing stuff that just sort of surprises people. Like they added co-op and they added 2 other fucking campaigns to it.
Yeah, and now you can swatch gender and like character design, and that's so cool.
Yeah,
sweet.
So
good.
It was both a crush and also just I had to talk about how you can kind of change the story for yourself a little bit, which is nice.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have a comic of the week or a graphic novel of the week, but Death Note is coming out as a film on Netflix.
Netflix? Netflix.
Yeah.
It's Netflix original.
Yeah, the teaser trailer is out, and I watched the anime.
Oh, really? I have no experience with that series.
No, it's basically about this kid who inherits, I guess, this journal. You write down a person who you want to see die, and if you picture them and you picture them dying in that manner, they'll die. And he has like this fallen angel almost that kind of watches over it, and it belongs to this demon.
Because I've seen that character.
Yeah.
Well, and like I know that I know it was a manga that was like very popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was an animated series. And they made a live action series of movies in Japan.
Yes.
And so I think, we're getting one live action movie here. From the director of You're Next, though, which I'm excited about. And the director of Blair Witch, I believe. The new one.
Oh,
so,
Katrina's friends with that director. Remember
Adam
they
Wingard?
went they went to the screening of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it. It looks cool. The teaser was great.
Sweet.
So
yeah. That's a lot of announcements.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
Seriously, and it seems like a lot of inclusion talk this episode.
So next week is our first guest.
Yay! I totally didn't even realize. So this is our 10th episode then.
This is our 10th episode. This is
Wow.
our anniversary.
10 episodes.
I know. That's like 10% to 100 episodes.
Yeah. We should celebrate.
I know.
Right now. Just instead, like, yeah.
What are we going to do? Here. Yay!
I'm not a newborn at the Sears Portrait Studio. Stop jingling your keys.
Look this way and smile. Oh my god. Yeah, so we have a guest next week, and we can say who it is.
It's someone we've talked about many times so far on the podcast.
His name is Travis, and he is my brother.
Yeah.
And he works in the game industry, and that's how Rob and him met.
Yep.
And that's how Rob and I became acquainted years and years and years ago. And he's worked on games such as like Mass Effect Andromeda, Shadow of Mordor, Star Wars Battlefront, and he'll probably get to tell us all about those. So
yeah,
the way he comes up with his ideas and things like that. That's what I'm going to pry out of him.
Yeah, because seriously, his involvement in a lot of very cool franchises is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and I get to poke fun at him because that's what we do.
It's going to be fun to, have like the sibling dynamic on the show.
Ooh, what if we fight? No, I'm just kidding.
My sister will probably never be on this. Just a heads up. Does she game? She does not. Oh. Last game she really got into was she loved The Sims on the GameCube. Okay. Because she didn't have a computer that could run The Sims. And Animal Crossing, she loved it.
Nope. Can't come on.
Yep.
Sorry.
Nope, that's not going to be a thing for
her.
Yep.
All right. Well, you can always find us on the social media. And mine is Cetine the Dream on Instagram and Twitter, or you can find me on Cetine, Cetine, on Twitch.
And I am Fast Danger on Twitter, and Mr. Gladstone, where Mr. is spelled out, on Instagram and Twitch.
You can follow us at BitDiff Podcast, BitDiffPodcast, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Or you can email us at bitdiffpodcast@gmail.com. Are you checking that inbox?
Yes.
Okay, because I will admit I'm not.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. So people can email, and they're not going to be ignored by me. Well, they'll be ignored by me, but they won't be ignored by you.
No, I check it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so I check it. So submit your stories. If you see an article that is like, oh my God, they have to talk about this, please send it. Because, we can't read everything. So if you see something we don't, we want you to tell us.
I do my best to bookmark stuff to talk about, but
obviously. Travis sends me stuff too. That's really cool.
Well, and God, bonus points if they have a funny headline like... Mass Effect is making women ugly or whatever.
Women. Exactly. I love it. We have brand new episodes every Wednesday.
And if you would be so kind, please follow, rate, and comment in iTunes and Google Play.
Yeah. So come back and check with us again next week. And Travis will be our guest star, host, whatever you want to call it, our guest.
Yeah, he'll be our guest. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Chowsies.
Bye.